What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show by your favorite duo.
It is. It's your favorite show by your favorite duo.
ImmaLetYouFinish on the Pantheon Podcast Network, show number 192. I cannot believe we have 192 shows.
I feel like it's 192 degrees outside.
I mean, I'm sitting here sweating like a hoe in church. I really am right now.
I just want to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I think hoes are allowed to go to church. And
absolutely. It's such an old expression.
I know. I love it.
It's like
it's very black and very
I got that from my mom, who's from North Carolina. It's like she said like a hoe in church. And
yeah, it's very black.
I'm like, I know a lot of hoes that go to church and they come out looking like they did when they went in, not perspiring.
Yeah, I know. I know a lot of hoes. Weren't all those priests who got caught with the boys? But that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation.
One of us is losing their voice. So.
Well, that's because you were standing outside of the jail this morning, screaming for Justin Timberlake, who was arrested for DWI in New York. And Amy was out with her sign being like, "Free Justin! Free Justin!"
Whatever. He's like,
it's
in
like
Sag Harbor. Okay, can I just say something really racially insensitive? I thought Sag Harbor, now the whites are going to Sag Harbor?
Well, didn't the whites always go to Sag Harbor?
I always thought it was the blacks went to Sag Harbor. I thought it was like the Long Island version of Oak Bluffs. I've been to Sag Harbor, but we all know my racial issues.
Right. Let's just say
it's beautiful.
It's the most Justin Timberlake thing ever to be arrested for DWI in Sag Harbor.
In Sag Harbor.
It's like, of course it's Sag Harbor. Why wouldn't it be?
Okay. So why don't you set this Taylor Swift thing up? Because I'm like, it's because it's a story that on one hand is like clickbait, but on the other hand, it's like speaks to something a little more possibly insidious. So,
absolutely. Okay. So here's the thing. We always talk about the fact that this is a very smart and very, very calculated, especially when it comes to her career, young woman who knows what she's doing. Things don't happen by mistake.
No.
And things don't happen by accident. We have talked about that all the time. Taylor Swift has literally put out, I'm not kidding, there's like 30 different variants of this Tortured Poet Society
I like how you use
album.
variants like it's a disease.
Well, that's what it's starting to feel like, because every time I turn around, there's a new one. And
I love how you say variants like it's COVID.
Well, it has something else that's kind of like there's no cure for it, right? It's like track number 19. You have to have it on this one. There's no cure for it. So the week that Billie Eilish was releasing her Hit Me Hard and Soft album.
Which was expected to go number one.
And it actually ended up being her biggest opening week ever.
Great album.
Suddenly,
great album.
Miss Swift is like, surprise fans. I have not one, not even 3. I have 6 new digital variants of the album. And each one has like different voice notes of the songs when I was making them. Of course, her fans are rabid. No one needs 40 versions of an album. So of course she does that. And what happens? She pips Billie, stays at number 1. And she's been at number 1 now for 2 months running. And Billie has her biggest opening week ever. But of course, she hits number 2. We thought, okay, that's weird.
And Billie, for what it's worth, pound for pound, the album got much better reviews. That this Taylor Swift record, our issues with Taylor Swift aside, this did not get great. It got good.
It got good reviews, right?
Billie,
good to mixed.
Right.
Good to mixed.
Whereas Billie's record was solid praise.
So I'm thinking, okay, that's weird. Maybe it's an accident. And I'm like, we'll let that go. I'm thinking these things were released worldwide. Oh, no. So last week, which was Charli XCX's first week of an album that everyone's been waiting for.
Raving about.
And great reviews. She had her biggest first week in the US. She's expected to debut at number 1 in the UK. All of a sudden, surprise, Taylor's like, UK fans, I know you want more. Here's a couple of new variants digitally.
And she's on tour in the UK right now.
Right.
Too.
And it's like, and there's voice notes and things on each one. So she comes in and pips Charli. Charli, who had her biggest week ever in the UK and was expected to go #1. Now I'm starting to think, okay, that's not an accident. This isn't an accident.
It's a pattern.
You want to keep the #1 position at all costs. And I find it really interesting because for someone whose whole thing has been, I'm a girl's girl, it feels like you only like some kind of girls. Now, the Billie thing, when I think back in retrospect, could it be personal? Because this comes as, remember, Billie's in the press being like, I don't understand why anybody would do a 3-hour show. It's ridiculous to do a 3-hour show. Now, Taylor's show is almost 3.5 hours.
And also, Billie has come out very, very strongly against people who release multiple versions of albums with different
on
colors
vinyl and all of the different and all of the different.
And when you think of somebody who does that, it's Taylor Swift.
I mean, she literally will have 20 different versions of something. And it just feels like it just doesn't feel like an accident. And I'm looking at her going,
nothing this girl does in an accident. We've seen her at football games. We've said this. She looks perfect. There's never been a candid photo of this girl.
It's true. You don't catch
nothing.
You don't catch her off guard ever. She's very aware. It just felt like,
Okay, so I think my issue, taking away from the music, because we've all said, I mean, she's talented, blah blah blah. It's not my vibe. She is talented. My issue with Taylor Swift, honestly, really began with the Reputation record when she put out that Bad Blood video, and I just thought, this is so petty. You're in your 20s. Like, why do we have our squad and going after Katy? I mean, the most, and like, it's like you're fighting Jello. Like, who cares? Who cares? But listen, people fight people. We all have. It's marketing. For all we know, her and Katy were in on it. Does Taylor speak out for women's issues? Definitely. Is she a force for young women and self-esteem and all that stuff? Definitely. Should her? We know she's a Democrat. Okay, so we're going to assume that she's got, she's pro-choice and blah 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 blah. But there's always been a part of Taylor Swift that is a little like that girl in high school. I mean, it's like too hilarious that she's going out with the football guy now. I mean, that's like the biggest cliche of all time. And this album, when she put out that song about Kim Kardashian, I mean, I have no issue with Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian is what she is. But she's never done anything to me. She doesn't appear to be a bad person. She just appears to be a woman with horrible taste in men and self-esteem issues that could, fill a book. Okay, fine. It's just sort of at this point, I guess if there were men putting out records, we could sit there and go, she's chart blocking. The guys too, but it just happens. It feels like summer is always the summer of the woman in terms of albums. That's when our divas come. That's when we want them, when it's hot outside. And, it's like they're going to give us either the big single that's leading into their fall album, or we've been leading in with singles leading into the album in the summer. I mean, Espresso, Jesus Christ. I mean, And now she's got Sabrina Carpenter actually has 2 in the top 5 because her follow-up single, Please, 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 is jumped up there. But I mean, so it's, it's a business. It's show business. Taylor is basically bulletproof. If you like her, you like her. If you don't like her, you don't like her. I object more to the complete consumerism of it all. I mean, come on. I mean, this is just ridiculous because her audience is mainly young. And, it's just a waste of, in the environmental thing of it, but it's also just like a world can exist where there's Taylor and Billie. They are completely dissimilar artists. They have nothing in common. Charli XCX has nothing in common with Taylor Swift. Charli XCX, to me, is a much more interesting artist at this point than Taylor Swift. Yeah, absolutely. She's making like the music that sounds like right now. Well, she's also making the music that
you want to put on and dance to, getting ready, going out with your friends, a night out, hearing Charli XCX loud, you know.
And you can listen to, I mean, Taylor is, all right, but it just seems like a little, are we reading too much into it? Maybe, maybe not, but it just seems like tacky. It's tacky.
It is tacky. And you know what I find when people always think that, it's funny that you say, like, are we reading too much into it? Usually the thing that you think it is what it is.
Yeah.
People try to explain it away and make a whole bunch of sort of roundabout. No, da da da. When everyone comes with that feeling, it's because that's what people wanted you to feel. It's usually what it is. And it's ridiculous. And it's, how many versions of this album do you need your fans to have? Like, literally, how many versions do you need your fans? When is enough enough?
Well, the fact that she releases a record and then 5 minutes later she'll release an extended version, like just release the whole goddamn extended version at one time.
Right.
It just, yeah, it's, like I said, from an environmental standpoint, it's also very tacky. And
can I just say this? I hope she takes a break after this record.
Well, she has to. I mean,
it's like, it's been a lot of music. Let people miss you. Go live some life so that you can actually have something to really write about. And just go live, come back in 3 years, 4 years, and let people really be excited to see you again.
I mean, and this is not a diss in terms of woman, but even the greatest singer-songwriters of our time had a thematic, and I'm not saying this, she can sleep with whoever she wants to sleep with. None of us, you know, we've all done our thing.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, you got to have something else to talk about. You're 35 years old. You're still talking about your boyfriends? I mean, this is it? Is this the entirety of your
That has been your criticism since I met you and we started having conversations about Taylor Swift. You're like, I hate that it feels reduced to a woman who everything has been centered around the men in her life.
The men in her life. And the men in her life are nowhere near as impactful. At the end of the day, in 20 years' time, no one's going to know who, what's his name? Kelsey?
Travis Kelsey.
I almost said Tyler. I know it's like some like whatever name. I always think of Travis, that Levi's commercial. Remember Travis? You're
oh yeah,
yeah. No one's gonna know who he is. I mean, honestly, no disrespect to the guy, but he is not.
This has been the biggest like outside of people in football knew who he was.
That's it.
The relationship with her has completely elevated his entire situation.
He wasn't dating like Jim Brown or Joe Namath or like a mega star. So no one's going to know who he is in the theme. No one's going to know who Joe Alwyn is, and he's a good actor. No one's definitely going to know who Maddie Healy is, for crying out loud. I mean, come on. You know, this is just boring at this point. And it's also like, get the freaking frack. I say this as a woman who has held on to the resentment of relationships like a dog with a bone. Get like, enough. You're 35. There's got to be things going on in your life. You have traveled the world. You have done you know, you can be a confessional singer-songwriter and not only confess about your shitty relationships. This is boring at this point. And so it's interesting. Like I said, there's no men coming out with a big record this summer, right?
There's nothing. Like, dude, we've talked about this.
There's no guys.
And there's like nothing. Like, you know, when you were away at Roberta Flackistan, I was like, being
infected with some Central Asian virus.
I was like, there's nothing to be excited about. Yes, I like these Sabrina Carpenter songs, but that doesn't feel exciting. No. I know that people are really into Chapel Roan, but that feels super young to me. You know, when I've listened to her, I get it.
I get it too.
I absolutely get it, but it feels for a certain demographic. It doesn't feel like for everybody.
She's good. I listened to it. My friend, who, you know, she's very much for like, quote unquote, the queer space type of thing. Mm-hmm. She's definitely good. I mean,
she's absolutely good, but it feels young. There's not that record that we're all like, listen, we're of the age when it was like a Michael Jackson record was announced, it was coming. It was a big deal. A Madonna record was coming. It was a big deal.
Well, the Dua Lipa record, Jesus Christ, what the hell happened with that? Shitty singles.
I don't think the songs were shitty.
I like Houdini. I sing it to myself.
I think Illusion was great, but I just think it was a different kind of beats, a different kind of record. And when you're coming off of like her first album, which people loved, and Future Nostalgia, which is great, which have anthems.
Yeah.
It's like people get mad, I realize, when they consider you like a dance diva. and you make them move, and then you make a record that doesn't do that. People get very frustrated. Like, these aren't the type of songs I want from you, because I think it's a really good record. I think it's a solid record.
I like the record,
but it feels like it underperformed, like we talked about last week with Cowboy Carter. It's like, Dua's on tour in Europe, she's doing her thing, but it almost feels like they've stopped really promoting this record, and that's it. And there's no Rihanna that we know of. Like, she just said actually that she's going back into the studio to restart. Yeah. There's not that.
And there's no guarantee with that either.
Right. And there's no big artist this is what happens when all marketing goes away. There's no excitement for, ooh, this is coming. It just feels.
I think also summer. I think we're without going way off on a tangent, I think everybody is so stressed out right now, and so, that Sabrina Carpenter song is cute.
Yeah.
I am what's with the boyfriend has had so much plastic surgery? It's very disturbing to me.
Whose boyfriend?
Sabrina Carpenter. She goes out with Barry Keoghan.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah, you do. He was in Saltburn, which I didn't see.
I didn't see it either.
Okay, he was in the Banshees of Inisherin. You didn't see Banshees of Inisherin?
No.
Oh, it's so good.
I heard it's amazing.
No, it's so good, and I have like a major thing for Colin Farrell.
Yeah, I like him too. Yeah.
If I had a type, that would be my type.
Mm-hmm.
The Black Irish. I have a total thing for. Yeah, anyway, is Sabrina Carpenter American or English?
American. She's from, I believe, like Pennsylvania.
She American or English?
American. And I believe she's.
She is American.
Yeah, and her cousin, she's from like Pennsylvania. She was homeschooled, and her cousin is Nancy Cartwright, who's the voice actor from The Simpsons, who does I believe Lisa
so she's a Scientologist.
Is she?
Nancy Cartwright's a Scientologist.
But that doesn't mean her.
I know. I'm just saying I'm just saying. Yeah. I feel like I'm sick. I'm on cold medicine. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. But, Nancy Carpenter is definitely a Scientologist. Well, that's cute. Cartwright. Her too. All right.
It just feels like there's nothing. And summer is usually the big time for records, and you're putting out records.
Nothing on the black charts either. No hip hop that I can think of. Nothing.
Nothing feels exciting.
Nothing at all. All right.
I mean, the Megan Thee Stallion album drops in like next week.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm not whatever, but I feel like that album's been dropping for 3 years.
Well, no, she announced it at the tour. It's like May 28th. But the thing that's interesting, and you and I have both said this.
We love the idea.
I love the idea of her. I love her. I love the idea of her.
I love everything about her.
I think she's great.
I wish the music was as good as the idea of her.
I love the music as I love the idea of her.
I love I want to Megan Thee Stallion, but possibly with somebody else's songs.
That's right. It's like,
because she's just adorable and funny,
all the things,
and smart,
all the things,
beautiful,
all the
and
things,
outspoken.
All the things.
And then I listen to her and I'm like, yeah. Okay, great.
It's like, oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Wow.
Look at that. Yeah, that's great.
Taco flavor
Tony
kisses.
Awards, I have no idea. It's like the gay Olympics. I don't pay attention to it.
It is, except,
I heard the show itself was a nightmare because Eddie Redmayne came out and was like creepy crawly.
Let me just tell you something.
What is the deal with him?
Okay, let me just say this. First of all, there was like no promotion for the Tonys. I didn't realize. At all. I did not realize it was Tonys weekend until Saturday when they were like, and the Tonys. I was like,
I saw nothing. But I don't watch CBS either.
No, but I don't either. But you usually see something until Survivor's on, because I'm a Survivor hoe. Miss Thing, that's my show, and I have a Survivor group chat.
I don't even,
including Survivor Australia, which is so much better than the U.S. edition.
Well,
Survivor
I had to catch up with 90 Day,
which there's like 400 of them. Now there's like 90.
Please don't get me started on 90
There's like
Day.
400 of them.
Listen to me.
I keep seeing like these ads for like.
No, it's horrible.
It's like 90 Day. Where are they? 90 Day. My first date. 90 Day. Let's go on a date. 90 Day. It's just 90 Day.
It's horrible. It's like going to the dentist.
The Tonys have turned into. It looked like a high school regional award show with lots of weirdness, and Eddie Redmayne's
What is the deal with
MC
He
from
freaks me-
his version of Cabaret just had me sitting there watching going, Joel Grey, you're not. And then Alan Cumming, when Cabaret came back,
Love
was
him.
amazing. His version of the MC. I don't know what that was.
But Eddie Redmayne, he won an award for this.
No, he
in
didn't
England.
win.
Oh,
He did in
won.
England. He did, but he
In
did
England.
not win the Tony.
Oh no, I know that here,
But you know, and everybody always expects, you know, when the Hollywood actors do Broadway, a lot of times they win. But really, I will say the winners on Sunday night were absolutely like Broadway's own. Like,
I will give Eddie Redmayne. He's not a Hollywood actor. He's an act. I mean, the British guys start out indie and small, but I didn't see any of the shows, obviously, because I have no money. But Stereophonic, I thought it was about the band Stereophonic. There's a band called Stereophonic.
What it is a band.
No, it's supposed to be phenomenal.
It's supposed to be a band that's like a Fleetwood Mac, and it's about the making of their second album. Their first album blew them up. They're on the verge of, like, you know, going from a hit band to moving into superstar status. So it's about the making of that second record, which is going to be the thing that takes.
And the guy from one of the guys from Arcade Fire did the music. I didn't see any of these shows for various reasons. I will say this. I mean, The Outsiders is one of my favorite books and an amazing movie. I heard
the show's great. I know
people
who've seen it. I heard it's great.
It's like but Alicia Keys just needs to sit all the way down. Why is she dragging? You have people in that show who are Broadway people, who are newbies, who deserve the shine. Why did you take the shine away from the people who've gotten the best reviews in that show? I just thought it was like...
Well, they did their moment and they performed, and then they did their pre-recorded performance because the her and Jay-Z part was actually pre-recorded, evidently.
Yeah.
Which is like, can I just say this?
And she was screeching, and as her usual, screeching.
But I'm like,
why are you doing this? This is theater. Like, this is theater. But yeah, I mean, congrats, blah, blah, blah. You know, I didn't watch it because I just have no dog in that show. But yay, it's always good when theater stuff and lots of winners and people. But yeah, it was like it came and went. But yay, yay.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
Yeah, really. I like that. I will say this, though, about Tony shows. Like, all those people are in it, man. Those people are like, it's a club.
It's Broadway. They
are in it.
And, you know, Broadway has gone through a lot of ups and downs. It takes a lot to get a show off the ground and running. It takes a lot to have a hit show. We've seen a bunch of things close early, and then we're seeing things like Hell's Kitchen, the Alicia Keys produced musical that is absolutely the breakout hit of the season.
Right.
So we're happy for that, right? Spilling seeds.
Alicia Keys.
No, it's not about, it's about Broadway actors and filling the theater and having a hit show.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good when money is coming into New York, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so the Songwriters Hall of Fame is held every year, and it's, as the title would imply, it honors the songwriters as opposed to performers. Though many of these songwriters, a la Mariah Carey, are also performers. And this year, Timberland was honored. But the standout, I am astounded that this is the first time they've been acknowledged, was REM. I would have thought that happened years ago.
Right.
I mean, they haven't been together. They broke up 13 years ago. They are considered, whether you like them or not, and they never made a huge difference in my life when they first came out, but I've seen them perform and they are fantastic. They are one of the foundational bands of the 90s. I mean, they are one of those bands of the college rock era.
I was about to say, when I was the music director of both of my college radio stations, like REM was, it was like REM, the Smiths, those kind of bands. They were those bands when we really had a focus on college radio. Like REM were huge in that.
And that they became as mainstream as they did with like a very unlikely song, you know, with a mandolin, which is usually not. So I was sort of surprised that it took them this long to be acknowledged, but they did get acknowledged, and they haven't performed. They did an interview on CBS Morning. Anthony Mason's like the best thing on CBS.
Yeah, he's really good.
No, he's really good. I mean, he's like the best interviewer. The best interviewers they have is on that Sunday show. I'm sorry.
Absolutely. I love CBS Sunday Morning.
It's the best. It's the best. It really is. It's like 60 Minutes, but even it's better than 60 Minutes, I think, at this point. But anyway, and they're not getting back together, and it's that they are at peace with each other. There was some, obviously, when you're in a group with somebody forever, there's going to be some acrimony. I always like the fact that they shared songwriting credit. I think that's the key to a longevity of a group. But for all we know, yeah, U2 does the same thing. They share the credit. But then they did perform at the Songwriters Hall of Fame. They performed "Losing My Religion." It was a moment, and I think we should be happy for the moments. It's like I'm reading all stuff. People are like, I follow Chris France on Facebook and stuff, and everybody's like, oh my God, guys, get back together. I mean, that would be great, but not everybody has to get back together. Like, they have an amazing body of work, and it's kind of, but anyway, so that was, I think they're the only ones that perform, right? Timbaland couldn't. And it's interesting that Timbaland, I would have given it to Missy and Timbaland the same year. Like, there isn't one without the other, right? It's like giving it to Lennon without McCartney. I mean, right. And she would, like, when she got inducted at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I was sort of surprised that he wasn't up there, not to take the award away, but he was like sitting in the audience, but they're friends and whatever. So that was a kind of cool boomer Gen X moment. Again, they've never meant anything to me, but the catalog is fantastic, and I did see them.
What's the frequency, Kenneth?
Oh, the whole catalog is. I saw him at the Garden. Though Michael Stipe did sneer at my son once, and I did not appreciate that. He sneered at him because there were children running around, and he gave that kind of like look of people who have no use for children, and it's like, you're wearing a sarong. I can't even take you seriously right now. But
hey, I wear sarongs.
But anyway, great band and great honor. Okay, I can't even. Why did it take almost 2 months for New York freaking City, Eric Adams, hey, I'm on the guest list. I'm telling you, really, I'm on the guest list, to take the key back from Puffy? 2 months. 2 months, right? Or 6 weeks. How long has this shenanigans been going?
I don't know.
Why? It should have been an immediate, as soon as that tape was released.
You're bad when New York City, as trashy as we are. Like, can you give us...
could you give us the key back, please?
Can you give us something back, please? As trashy as this town is.
No, as trashy as Eric Adams is.
Oh, well, that too.
As trashy as Eric Adams is.
To be like... By the way,
he wants to make it illegal to wear masks on the subway.
Wait, after yelling at everybody, wear your mask.
Good.
I will say,
I would love to be arrested.
I will say this: I'm always looking around at some of these young motherfuckers running around, and it's 90 degrees, and you got this full mask, and you got a hoodie on, and I know that your mask and hoodie has no. But that's what the problem has been, right? That's what they're trying to combat, because you're like, it is 90 degrees. You look like, I mean, listen, it's giving, we're all sweating.
Right.
And you've got a hoodie on and a full
I have a good idea too. Why don't you disable Candy Crush from the New York City Transit Police phone so they actually have to pay attention to what's going on? Take Candy Crush off their phones. You know what it's like?
I will say.
They pay Candy Crush all the time.
I will say, I have been seeing a lot of police in the subway.
Right.
And I have seen them on their phones. I've absolutely walked by and seen
They're
people
always
on
their phones. I mean, I can't compare one subway system to another, but I was just, like I said, in Uzbekistan, and the subways there, they were designed by the Russians, and it's a much smaller country. But trying to explain to someone from there what the New York City subway looks like, and it's much older, obviously. But yeah, Eric Adams. So anyway, well, it's like, and I get the feeling it was like, hey, Sean, hey, how you doing? Listen, would you mind giving us the key? We'll give you another one later. Just give us back that one.
It feels like Howard took returned his.
Yeah, but Howard did it faster than he did.
Well, yeah.
Howard did it faster than they did. And with Howard, I think Howard can't. Eric Adams doesn't need anybody approval. He's the mayor. He said, "Just give it back to me." Howard had to go through this department. Yeah, he's awful. He's just the worstest of the worstest. He's the worst.
And on that note,
yes,
since he's the worst, we're gonna do what's the best and take a break.
Yes,
and we'll be right back. Toodles. And we're back.
Okay, so back in the day, I used to collect when Charles Barkley would say something really crazy and outrageous. I would like cut it out and put it on my refrigerator. I think my favorite one that he ever said when he was playing in the Dream Team, when he was in the Dream Team, and he was like, they were playing against like Roberta Flackistan, and he was like, and he goes, "I don't care. I'm going to play hard, even if the team looks like they haven't eaten in a week." Love that.
My favorite is when they're sitting there, one of mine, and he goes, well, and Ernie goes, well, who do they, Charles is like, I don't mind when people mistake me for people. And Shaq's like, well, I do. And Ernie says, well, who did they mistake you for? And without missing a beat, Shaq just goes, Shrek. It was the funniest shit on the
Charles
planet.
Barkley to me is like one of the great the great commentators of our time. He really is, because he's hilarious. He knows the game. He's hilarious. That TNT lineup is bar none the best.
Top tier. Or when he saw Zion Williamson and he had gained weight and he looked and he said, looks like me and Shaq had a baby. And everybody just funny. He was like, what? He said, he looks like me and Shaq had a baby.
Or when he told his mother, this is back when he was running for governor. He used to get running for governor of Alabama, and he was going to run as a Republican. And his mother said, but Charles, Republicans are rich people. And he goes, but Mom, I am a rich person. Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck, which is what I love. But he doesn't give a fuck, and he backs it up. He's very funny and very self-deprecating. And anyway, he stands
up for gay and trans people. He stands up for us. We love Charles Barkley.
No, I love him.
And he's retiring. He's announced that he, after the next season, which clearly is going to be the last that TNT will have basketball.
Well, where's it going to go? Where's it going? NBC?
NBC. So that means, well, Disney and ABC already did their deal, right? So ESPN will have their games like they do. ABC will do the finals. And then NBC, I guess, will bring it. You know, they want that shit for Peacock. So they'll have, I guess, weekly games that'll be on NBC. And then, you know, get that Peacock subscription. And if you want the league pass, Peacock, you know, they want all of that shit.
No, but who's going to be like, so Ernie's gone too?
Well, we haven't announced. Here's the thing. Next season is the last season of that show. Okay. And then Ernie has always said that, you know, he loves TNT. He would stay there. We don't know what's going to happen. But once Charles is like,
that's gone.
Next season is it, and I'm actually retiring. I'm not going to go to any network after that. I'm done. It's the end of an era for that show. So the show's it's broken up. Like even if the three of the three of them stayed together, without Charles, the balance is just
they need each other, because you need Ernie to play like the principal and you be quiet. You be quiet.
The Shaq and Chuck back and forth makes that show. So it's really the end of the era. So what we'll get next season is a celebration, I'm sure, of the whole thing, and then it's done. But I really feel for the crew, because people, like they said, we've had people who we've watched their kids be born to graduating from college. You know, they've been here that long. You know,
they should. You know, it'd be interesting if they brought on. Oh my God, I'm going to screw up her name. Monica McNutt. Is that her name?
Well, here's the thing. That crew already has Jamal Crawford, who's there on certain days, and it has Vince Carter. They could switch it, and it would be fine, but it's never going to be the same.
No, but you know who would be great television? Because he's such a little bitch.
And they already have Candace Parker, too. Right. Candace Parker is there.
But you know it would be great TV, because he's such a little bitch, is Reggie Miller.
Yeah, but Reggie's already part of the TNT family, right?
Oh, he
and
is?
he
Okay.
does, but he's not in. He calls games. He's never in the studio with them.
Right.
It's different. You're gonna have to
it's
do.
great.
It's gonna go to, and it's gonna go to whatever happens to another network. They have to build a show. That is the best basketball show on television.
I would say it's like one of the best sports shows. Period.
Absolutely.
Outside of Tim Carver, when he used, because they obviously like each other, and they're smart. And
the top two sports shows to me on television, bar none, are Inside the NBA and the football show, European football show with Thierry Henry, Jamie Gallagher, Kate Abdo, and Micah Richards. They are hilarious and brilliant, and they're part of the CBS Paramount family.
Yeah, no, I just love the idea of these, these three crusty, bitter black guys sitting there, and Ernie going, okay, with his little bow tie. I love
they're all yelling at each other, and Ernie's laughing. Okay, we don't want to pay for licensing. So
right, okay.
No more singing.
Well, my voice is so screwed up, they'll never know. All right, this is switching gears like in a way that a car. All right, so I just went to a Bad Bunny show.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wanted to start a race riot with black people, I don't know if that's the show I would pick.
No, that's also brown people. Like that's
right, but he said black. All right, let's give the background. So this piece of trash, Mark Adams Prieto, was arrested in May over the alleged plot to shoot up a rap concert to start a war. But his idea of the rap concert was Bad Bunny show. All right, so right off the bat, he's
right off the bat, it already shows. It's like, well,
he's not a rapper.
Let's talk about your good old American education that you're clearly not using. I'm going to the rap concert, Bad Bunny, to start a race war.
MAGA, gotta love it.
It's just like but it's really scary at the same time because
Did you see the picture of the amount of guns he has?
That's the thing that's scary.
Oh my God, it literally looks like the Thanksgiving table.
They've also caught somebody who was trying to go to a pride and he had a bunch of guns. It's like really, there's been terrorist threats against New York Pride. So it's just...
I will say, I'm not saying this to make fun, but it says here, because obviously it's horrible and he's a piece of garbage and I hope he gets every amount of time possible. He allegedly decided to target a rap concert because they believed it would draw a concentrated gathering of black people. Okay, once again, I was at the Bad Bunny show. There were black people there, but that would not be the show I would pick.
Right.
And advised his supposed conspirators to wear hoodies when they infiltrated the crowd because he said the outfits would not draw attention. Okay, once again, not making light. Cowboy hats, perhaps. Because everybody was wearing a cowboy hat. So do your research, racist piece of shit, before you go.
It's like...
Do your research. Google. Go to the Googles and look up his audience.
And if you can't spell, which he probably can't...
Go to the Googles.
And you can voice talk it. Yeah.
Hey, black people, Bad
Bunny. Bad Bunny concert.
No, I will. And again, I am not making light of this. This is horrifying. But as someone who just went to the show... And I looked out at the audience and the people who were sitting with us, obviously there were black people there, but that was not the show. If your idea is to annihilate black people and start a race war, not the show to do it. But he's an ass and he got arrested. Who are elected, arrested so close these days. Who can tell the difference?
Because, right, you could be the racist or, please don't even listen. That's just an avenue I can't even go down.
All right, hold on. Oh, no. Okay, this will be a brief one, but when I was away and I was checking my email occasionally, I saw this Rob Tannenbaum is so funny. He always writes on Wednesdays, why is everyone screaming in their press releases? Because one of the record companies puts everything out in caps, so they're screaming at you. So there was a screaming about the...
Oh no, what?
I'm losing my voice. The 10th anniversary of the first Sam Smith record.
I am so over anniversaries.
All right.
Everything doesn't have an anniversary.
Well, technically everything
they do, but it's like...
But Come on, you cheapen it. It's like calling something iconic. We've had this conversation. All right, I am not a Sam Smith fan. I think he seems like a very nice. They seem like a very nice person.
Mm.
They are a good singer. Once again, just because you sing in falsetto does not make you a soul singer. You're just singing in falsetto. I'm sorry, that doesn't make you a soul singer. That said, I think the best thing that they ever did was with Disclosure.
And then that first album.
Yeah,
And those
but does
were
it work? But the 10th anniversary with, hold for it, extended tracks and colored vinyl and so anyway, yeah, 10th. So it's like it's the second anniversary of the third remix of the B-side of the UK version of the Luxembourg Deluxe. It's ridiculous.
Listen,
they need to
Danny
just stop.
Minogue, who I love randomly, because you know me, I'm random, just had 2 anniversaries of 2 of her albums that got re-put out by London Records with expanded editions and new vinyl. And I'm like, this is getting crazy.
I mean, no disrespect, but she could walk down the street with a fire in her head and handing out marshmallows and nobody would know who she is.
It's like, okay. Everybody's got Amy and I are going to put out an anniversary edition just of something. Just be like, you know what? Here's the anniversary of that time that I bumped my toe while making the podcast.
That would be all the time.
It's the anniversary.
Yeah, no, it's more like just cheap, grab the marketplace type of thing. It's just lazy, but it's just sort of funny because, I mean, Sam Smith, bless their heart, seems like
very talented.
Very talented. Seems like a nice person, but come on. I mean,
the last album that I really enjoyed by Sam, absolutely, like you said, can absolutely sing, was that first album. I saw him the day the album was released. He performed at the Apollo. Like I was working with a client who shared the same publicist, gave me tickets. So I actually saw him perform live.
Because when British people want black validation, they're like, I'll go to the Apollo. It's just like, oh my God.
Saw him perform live.
No, I heard that was a great show.
Before I actually heard the whole album.
No, I heard that was a great show.
Amazing. Sang his face off. But that was back when he was shy and weird Sam. And he was like, oh my God.
I know, sad Sam. Now he's like, obvious Sam. But nice person, very self-deprecating.
And I think lives in New York because he just keeps being seen all over New York and has been. I think they live here.
Okay.
I think they live here somewhere.
Yeah, enough with the anniversaries. It's enough. By the way, this is complete departure, and then we'll get back to on my 13-hour plane trip with no in-flight movies because my thing wasn't working, and the ones I did have were like hilarious. So old. I listened to some episodes of Rock Back Pages, and I listened to the Neil Tennant interview, which is freaking brilliant. And he talks about how he thinks that Boy George is one of the most underappreciated, underrated artists ever. And he really and for Neil Tennant to say something nice about somebody else, because, he can be a little snickety snackety.
Well, remember, George's solo career, especially in the U.S., was never as big. And even I don't think overseas his solo career got as much love as Culture Club. And remember when Boy needed a hit and it wasn't hitting a long time?
No, he was talking about Culture Club too. Yeah,
Pet Shop Boys gave him his biggest solo hit with the Crying Game theme.
They produced that?
Yes. Listen to that song. Think about it now. Doesn't it sound like a pet? Think about the beat, the lyrics. Doesn't it? And when you listen to it, you're like, oh my God, this is completely a Pet Shop Boys production.
Wow. That's a brilliant song.
Brilliant song.
It's a brilliant movie, too.
Listen, Generations of Love. I love singing Generations of Love. Like he's got solo bops.
Yeah, but it's a very fun interview. All right. I can't even with Iman. What is it? Iman Shumpert? Is that how you pronounce it? A former Nick, so I break for any Nick. Was married to Tiana Taylor. At the time, he was the bigger star, literally the bigger, because he's 9 feet tall, and a basketball player. And they had like 2 cute kids and whatever. Now she's
and a million reality shows where they're like, show us our love. And now that there's a nasty divorce, it's like.
So is it over money or just like...
Oh, it's always over money. Now we're at the money portion where she wants child support. He's saying she makes more money than he does now and all of the things. Just,
Did you see 1001? Is that the name of the movie? The movie she's in.
Where she played the mother?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
So good.
But you know what's really funny?
So good.
It's a really great movie that I actually figured out the twist very early on. I was like,
did you?
I did. For some reason.
Yeah, really. Thank you.
For some reason, I was like, I know what this is going to be.
This got to be something.
Yeah, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
You can find that on Amazon, I believe it's.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good movie.
She's another one who's really talented, and
she's very talented.
And her music hasn't gotten enough attention.
Well, she says Kanye really like screwed up her record. I mean, which is shocking. Kanye screwing up anything. Did you read that article in the New Yorker? She said, as a white person, about Kanye buying this like landmark architectural, one of the great geniuses of our time,
and then pulled all the plumbing out of the house, and now it's sitting there. And now it's sitting there. He's trying to sell it. Nobody wants to buy it.
It looks like a parking garage.
It's like you took all of the plumbing,
everything
out of a house.
No, all the stairs, all the plumbing. He basically left a shell. Yeah, he's
and wants to try to sell it for like 50-something million, and people are like, "It's going to cost me."
They dropped it to $39 million.
Oh, just that.
Yeah. We can all have a GoFundMe. If we're talking about movies, I just want to briefly say something, then we'll talk about Ms. Angela Bofield's death. Have you seen the Stax documentary on HBO?
I've seen part of episode 1.
You got to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going.
So good. I mean, I'm not saying this to be like, look at me, I'm so smart, but rare is the music documentary where I go, really? Because I was always, it's a great documentary. I mean, it's produced by Polygram, which is Stax, but that said, it's very unflinching. The connection between Stax and the civil rights movement is really driven home. It's a phenomenal movie. And I watched the thing on Hulu about Black Twitter.
I've heard that's good too. I haven't
seen it. It's good.
It.
It's really good. It makes you realize, oh shit, there really was like a Black Twitter, and all these white people going, where's the Black Twitter?
Black Twitter was hilarious.
I know. One of the great moments of my life was I was at some Nike event that Lucian was part of, and people were shouting. I was like, oh my God, like someone on the stage was like, and Lucian's here with his mom. Shout out to Amy Linden. And Lucian turns to me and goes, you're big on Black Twitter now. And I'm like, I'm big on Black Twitter.
I'm telling you, I know a couple of people that have seen this Luther doc that's coming next year.
Oh, I know. I'm very excited.
And your name, everybody keeps hitting me like, Amy's name comes up on the screen because she wrote this article, and they do a quote from the article. They put the name in there, and it takes a second for everybody to make the connection. They're like, I'm sitting there and I'm reading the piece. I read the name and I'm like, oh shit.
I used to be somebody. Clearly, they only got that message in Uzbekistan when they let me into show for free for the third or fourth most popular singer in Uzbekistan. That's what my friend said. She's the third or fourth most popular. So I'm like, oh, okay. As long as she's in the top 5. That's great. Why don't you handle Angela Bofield? Because I know obviously she wasn't at Herder, but I'm not going to pretend like I was a huge. I just didn't pay attention to her enough.
Bronx-born Angela Bofield.
Gorgeous.
I mean, suffered later in life, had a couple of strokes, which really changed her ability to be able to sing. But she would go out and still perform and drum, and she was really talented. The thing. It's really interesting about Angela because those records, Clive had a formula that really, if you think about with his Black female singers, didn't fully work until he got to Whitney Houston, right? Because he was trying to really find mainstream success with artists who really had almost like jazz and really deep.
Yeah, he wanted to take those. And
Phyllis Hyman, because he had Phyllis around the same time.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, and remember, and you look at all of the records like that was back when Barry Manilow was a big producer. Trying to put Barry with her, and had some success with Angela, but not the moments you think that she should have. And then did the thing, put it with Michael Narada Walden. Had some success, but not the same way when you got Whitney, who had a look that almost, in a style that could do the pop sensibility. She was skinny, real like Phyllis and Angela are beautiful women. The Whitney just had the package that with those kind of songs just took off into the stratosphere. But Angela's catalog is so deep, so amazing, really super talented. And I think as an unsung artist, it's not spoken about enough, you know, very deep catalog. I play a lot of her music all the time. I still play her. Like, I still will put on an Angela Bofill album and just put it on cleaning the house or doing some stuff, editing the show and different stuff. And so we lost it this week.
I gotta go back to listening to her.
We just lost another, you know, iconic, great artist that they don't make them like that anymore. You know what I mean? They're
not interested in making them like that anymore. Right. I will mention two people who passed away, one of whom I did not know either one of these people very well. Turns out I was at a table at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with one of them, but Jeremy Tepper, who was sort of the father of the whole outlaw country. He ran the cruises. Mm-hmm. He was married to the singer Laura Cantrell, who I think you might know her name. Mm-hmm. Ran the Sirius FM Outlaw Country, was a journalist, was in a band years ago, died suddenly at 60-something.
Wow.
Heart attack. And you know when you read people's comments about them and you go, God, I wish I knew this person?
Right.
And like I said, it turns out I was seated at the table with him at Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and I was introduced to him. But he just seems like people are profoundly shook. And then the journalist Claudia Perry, who I had met a few times, who suffered no fools. She was a real journalist, like a real newspaper journalist. She was a very popular person at the early South by Southwest before it became crazy. She was a Jeopardy contestant.
Wow.
She'd been on Jeopardy 4 times. She was an expert about baseball, but she was also one of the early proponents. She's a black woman from the South who wrote about country music and wrote, she wrote about everything, but she wrote about country music and I believe received a Grammy nomination for her liner notes for a black country retrospective. And I mean, Claudia was like suffered no fools, but another person where you just, you know, just the real deal, like a real one. So rest in peace to both of those people. And the fucking Celtics one, I hate them. I didn't even watch. I don't care.
The Celtics did when I did watch. I was really happy for Al Horford.
I'm hoping for no one. I'm happy for no one.
Al Horford has been in the league for 17 years. Whatever. He's been really close and no cigar. So to him to finally get it, I was really happy for him. And I actually, you know, I'm not a Boston fan at all, but I actually do like their young core. I like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I like them both. So I was really happy to see them win.
I'm never happy to see the Celtics do anything. And I still, to this day, when I see black people wearing Celtics jersey, it's like watching a black person wearing the Confederate flag. Ooh. That said, the greatest scene Spike Lee has ever had in a movie is in Do the Right Thing, where the guy steps away, John Savage.
John Turturro.
No, not John Turturro.
He was in Do the Right Thing. Who?
No, but that's not the scene when the white guy's putting his bike down the street and he
rolls up Giancarlo Esposito,
and he's wearing a bird jersey. That's like the greatest thing ever. I will say the only reason to root for the Celtics is because the Mavericks had the whiniest little blah, 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 baby face. That guy from, he's horrible.
Yeah. Luka Doncic.
Oh my God. It's like, they touched me. It's basketball.
Well, he's got a lot of time to think about it because there are times where his emotions got the best of him during this series.
Yeah, go back to Serbia.
Oh my goodness.
No, he's just such a baby. Mm-hmm. They touched me. Sorry. All right, what are you listening to?
I am listening to I don't know. I've been listening to the Blessed Madonna's new song, Count on My Love. It's a really good house moment. I actually did listen to Normani's new album, Dopamine.
Discuss.
Wow.
Okay, the fact that you paused said it all. Thank you.
It's not a bad album. It's not. It's just boring to me.
Okay.
It's
That's
boring.
like when people say, She's got a really nice personality. That's
No,
you.
Can
we just say that we like the idea of a Normani more than a Normani?
And the reviews are interesting because the reviews are being good. Some people have really loved it. I think that it is missing that meat. You know what I mean? That thing to really latch on to be like, wow, this is a really great song. There's not terrible songs. It's just boring. I don't think it's going to.
I think her ship has sailed. I mean, she seems like I think it's coming, and nobody's feeling the new Camila Cabello either.
Well, that song is really weird. But like, I
Horrible.
love it. I 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 love it. Yeah.
It's not a good song. I started because I'm still sick and whatever, but I sat down and listened to the Charli XCX. It's just freaking great.
Yeah, it is. It's a good record. It is.
I mean, it's just great. She delivers. It's a perfect summer record. It's punchy. She can sing. She's got attitude.
Oh, and I like the Kate Tronada album, Timeless. It's a good album.
Oh, okay.
It is a good album.
I like him. I like him. But it's punchy. She writes a good song. Hello. That's all you need. If you can, and it's short, and you know us. We like come in under 50 minutes and we are there for you. Come in under 45 minutes and we are like doubly there for you.
And here's the thing. I don't mind a long album if it's great.
Yeah, but people are just like, no, I like her a lot. I like her whole vibe. You know who I really like a lot? I mean, I'm not the only person, but I'd love to see him come out with something again. Is Troye Sivan. I really like him a lot.
Well, he put out an album this year, and he and Charli XCX, they're another one. They're trying to do an arena tour of the U.S., and I think they've been having trouble selling tickets.
Yeah, I think no, she should stick to mid-size. But I mean, I like this record a lot. It's getting great reviews.
Oh, you know what else is really good that I was listening to? Layla Hathaway's new album.
Oh, I've heard that's fantastic. I gotta listen to that.
Banta Black. It's really good.
I've heard that. I mean, she's a great singer. I mean, talk about legacy. Jesus Christ. I mean, when your dad is Donny Hathaway.
Okay, and then there's this other artist whose name I'm going to really
Mangle.
It's called. Her name is like Nilüfer.
You're not even trying to mangle it at this point.
Nilüfer Yana, and
you sound like you had a stroke when
and she's got a single called Method Actor, and it's coming from her album that's coming this September, and it's really good. And I like her voice a lot. Yeah, her name is spelled. Okay, I'll spell it. Nil. A U with those two little dots above it.
Oh, so she's Swedish. It's
F-E-R Yana, Y-N-A-Y-A.
Oh, so she's Swedish or German or something like that.
And she's really good. And
I'm going to call her Neosporin because I can't be
Neosporin. I'm listening to Neosporin, and I really.
I can't think of. I just can't. I'm going to be like that teacher who gets like the kids with all the weird spellings in the name and go, "Yeah, your name's Neosporin." Okay. I don't have time to figure out your name. Well, yeah, the Swedes or the whatever they are, the Scandinavians do a good job on that. All right, do you want to wrap this like a fish in newspaper?
You know what it is, everybody. It's I'ma let you.
You gotta explain that fucking country thing for me.
I'm channeling Dolly Parton. It's Pride Month.
It like this. I like the great Carlene Carter. You put the cunt in country. You do put the cunt in country.
Help.
I found a great word of all time, by the way. Cunt. When men say like you can't use that word, I'm like, yes, I can.
I love the word cunt.
No, it's great.
Cunty.
Not the way it's used here. The way the Brits use it. Oh, it's fucking.
And the way it's used here, homosexually, I love it. Cunty.
No, I love it.
Feeling like a lily, feeling like an orchid. Cunty.
Okay, you're scaring me.
Kevin Harvey and Sunny. Anyway, you know what it is, everybody. It's I'ma Let You Finish podcast. Every week we have new episodes on the Pantheon Podcast Network where you can find us with a plethora. I said pleth and a ra of other
That's a good word. That's a good word too.
Really brilliant music programming and lots of video programming, lots of really exciting stuff coming up at Pantheon. So you should be following us. You should also be following Pantheon and, tell a friend, leave a rating, Join us on our Facebook page, and I'm gonna let you finish, all one word, or
but behave yourself.
On our TikTok, I'm gonna let you finish podcast. On our IG, I'm gonna let you finish NY, and we will see you next week when it's actually Pride Week. Well, it's Pride Month, but then we'll wrap up with Pride Week next week. Then we go into the 4th of July holiday, where Amy and I explain 50 different ways to grill a hot dog. And until then, we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.